All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for One Outs, episode 4. All right, the money.
Mm-hmm.
This is Moneyball.
Yep,
but
that's
with
right.
some insane levels of skill coming from individual players, specifically Toua.
Yeah.
And the other team can recognize, well, at least the pitcher can, what he's doing.
Yep.
But they can't stop it.
No. But you can bet that every team is going to start scrambling to be like, okay, how is this new rookie pitcher throwing perfect games, even if it is in the preseason?
Sure. Yeah, the preseason is something where they still might have that copium of like, it's just the preseason.
Yeah, it's right.
Those are the fourth string players.
Yeah, you know.
That's all it is. It's just
happened once so far. You know, that could happen to anybody. You know, someone gets lucky, whatever. He's just, having a great day. We'll keep an eye out, but nothing too
He was
crazy.
only throwing, like 75 miles an hour.
Yeah, people will adjust to that in no time.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
It gets me excited about some of the older kind of history of baseball because back when baseball was, more scrappy, there was way less steroids going around in general, and people just weren't as good at the game. Like in general,
right?
Like you just weren't as good and stuff. You had some crazy things that could happen, and I feel like this is just going to be a moment to explore that through the realm of a pitcher who has set up a betting contract with the owner of the team.
Yep.
Where he's got a plus minus based on
10-1 of points giving up to strikes or to outs.
Outs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has to get a player out.
Right. It doesn't have to be a strikeout. So that's good at least.
Yeah, that would be extremely unreasonable. And in general, an owner doesn't care whether it's a strikeout or not. It's more the thing of like, hey,
they are made to be out. They don't get a point.
And that's honestly the only saving grace for this owner is that he can actually influence this through the other players because it's not just Toua that's involved on a baseball diamond.
And hopefully the expenses, if Toua does continue to do this, will maybe be offset kind of by the team doing really well.
I think the one positive for this is that he doesn't have to pay it up front. It's something that's basically his contract for like the year or the season. And that's something where, it's going to go up really high. It might come down a little bit and then it might go up to catastrophically high level.
Because he might not have the necessary guarantee that Toua would be able to pay it. So, you just let the wages go up and then they just get garnished if you let runs through. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's really interesting to see like what might happen as the story of this team that's going to definitely go a distance. Maybe not the distance, but
they very well could. Yeah.
Because of Toua. And Kojima is not even back in to play yet because of injuries. He's out for the preseason.
Right. So all
when the real season starts, then they're going to be deadly on offense for at least Kojima's side of things, because overall their team isn't great. No. And they've mentioned this multiple times that like they're kind of the Karasuno Crows where they've like been in the dumpster for a bit,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But all that hopium from the other teams of like, this won't last. No, it's going to get worse.
I mean, yeah, probably. Probably. So, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I mean, weirdly enough, the pitcher is the one that needs to show up least to practice.
Sure.
Pitching, like... Whoa.
Who's this to?
Another rival, potentially.
Yeah.
He's
but
a
that
thick
jawline.
dude,
yeah.
Yeah.
開幕実試合の入場者数はどうなっている？
はい。前年比の 11% 増です。
Okay.
おお、上がってんのか。負けて儲かるんだったら、負け続けるのも悪くはないな。
Damn.
で、小島の復帰に合わせて勝ち始める。
Ah, smart. Smart.
Mm-hmm.
From the financial side of things.
When it counts.
なぜ特徴を出さないんですか。
オープン戦であれだけの結果を出したのに。
時間を稼いでいるんですよ。他球団が特地を徹底的に解剖するまでに各球団の特地対策も出来上がったのではないですか。
So that excuse doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
He was almost prodding me out of there of like,
Right.
so are you still gonna go with that as your reason?
Yeah.
Because it should have only taken like a week for them to analyze him.
さらに
失礼します。
Oh.
彼の犬は
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew
Alright.
it. They're already starting this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Wow. I love how the baseball is 3D.
全く無名の
Yeah,
特
that's
地
nice.
トーア。オープン戦とはいえ、あのフィンガーズ相手に完全試合を達成し、一躍脚光を浴びました。
Well,
イーグ
now.
ルスの先頭打者は俊足の岡部。
Speedy Okabe.
おっと、特地がバッターボックスに入るよう指で指示しています。
いいか。特地は初球は必ずと言っていいほど甘いコースの直球でストライクを取りに来る。そこを狙うんだ。
Go for the first pitch. Oh,
低めのボールだな。
very low. Oh, made contact though.
いや、抜けた。
Oh
コースが良かった
Wow.
か。ヒットです。
Wow.
And it was a slow grounder too. They specifically said that, so it's like, oh yeah, how did that happen?
なんだ吉田のあの動き。あんな頃いつもなら楽勝だろうが。
さあ、特地。
Oh no, it's gonna split. Oh, good. Leadoffs and stuff.
ランナー走った。
Yep, he's done.
外した。これはバッテリー読んでいた。や
られた。
おっと、ショート吉田ボールをこいつ。
Wow.
いいぞ吉田、ナイスエラーだ。
悪い特地。
さあどうする特地、外野フライでも1点だ。
Fly out. Oh shit.
特地もマウンドを降りてショート吉田のところへ行きます。
出ろ。お前に守備をする資格はない。
Whoa.
なんと特地。
Shit.
吉田に
Wait, no way they heard
出る
that.
ように命じま
No
し
way
た。
they heard that.
あっと吉田、三塁方向へ歩き出した。
I mean, he already did his part.
Yeah, he got someone to
He got someone to
third.
third. Yep.
ファールグラウンドに仁王立ち。これは前代未聞。
Wow.
このまま8人で守るつもりなんでしょうか。
Wow.
場内は大ブーイングです。
墓穴を掘ったな特地。いや特地は降りないね。というよ
We've
り
taught.
監督は
Gotcha.
特地を降ろ
This is
せない
when
よ。
you want to specifically lose this game to get the money back.
おっと、どういうことだ。三原監督動きません。
いいんですか監督。仕方ないだろう。吉田は何も悪くないんだから。
じゃあ特徴。
ダメだ。特地は絶対変えちゃう。
今情報が入りました。リカオンズの中継ぎ投手の菅原はブルペンで詰め終わって今日は投げられない。ということは、
初回すでに6人の投手を投入してますから。
6 pitchers.
もう特地以外のピッチャーはいない。
おい、頭冷やせ特地。
Oh,
そうだよ
okay.
お前が悪いよ。
吉田さんに謝れって。
11対0なんて無様な試合しかできない連中に。はあ、このスコアは実力なんかじゃない。つまり自分たちはイーグルスなんぞに劣ってねえよとでも。
Those are the only two things that matter right
俺
now.
はそう思ってる。
そうだな。俺も同じ意見だ。
Yeah.
あんなイーグルスのヘボ相手に9人は必要ね。
Okay.
だから吉田を外したのさ。
Player.
Also, because he throws so slow, people tend to hit it down the third baseline. Yep.
三塁走者動けない。
Okay, no,
ベースに
no.
戻るのに遅れた一塁手を見て送球をためらった。
Not only that, he has to think about.
さらに次のバッターも。
Oh no.
満塁です。ノーアウト満塁。リカオ
Oh
ンズ
my
絶
God.
対絶命の打。
No, this is actually fine. Toa's systematically making it so he and the catcher will play the whole game now.
Oh yeah.
ほんと口ばっかなやつら。
何？くそ、守りてえ。絶対1点もやりたくねえ。
Yeah. You got this, guys.
さあ
A lot of
徳地
space
もう後がない
then, yeah.
状態だ
Throw it on the inside then. Inside pitch.
バイタム抜けた
今井取った
Wow! Good job!
セカンドベースにタッチしてそのままランナーを追う
Oh, shit! Oh!
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Is
Double
that
play.
3 outs?
It's a double play.
Yeah.
Triple play!
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god.
もういいまだ先は長い
Yeah, yeah,
That's
sure.
true. That's true.
Sure, sure.
徳地は8人での守備に苦戦を強いられた。毎回のように打たれランナーを出し続けた。だが守備陣は必死に守り、
Nice job.
なんと6
Okay.
回まで無失点に抑えた。
But they haven't gotten any points either.
Cool. Alright, we're getting to know the players and
Yeah.
what makes them unique. Yeah.
自分なりに落下点を読んだのさ。なんか俺こんなピリピリした気持ちで守備したこと
Right? He's leading them.
トアがあんなこと言った手前1点も許すわけいかねえもんな。
Yeah, we'd be a laughing stock. Yeah, yeah.
危機意識のない勝負に勝利なんて
Ah, gambling. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there has to be real risk, you know?
Yeah.
見ろよ。
They're cheering for y'all now.
Uh-huh.
あれだけのブーイングがいつの間にか拍手に変わっている。
Right.
Yeah.
7回表、リカオンズは反撃に出る。
打った二塁ランナー三塁も蹴ってホ
Alright.
ームへ4
Alright.
点目リカオンズ
Okay.
その差7点
4
と詰め
points
寄
in
り
an
まし
inning.
た
But
That's-
only
that's really
2
good.
innings left.
マジに水橋かよ。
Who is this?
まだ7回。それも7点差だぜ。いくらなんでもここで切り札を出す。
Oh, yeah.
この場面だから出るのさ。
Gotcha. So not an inning change. Still
水
7.
橋は若いが責任感は人一倍強い。去年もセーブがつかないのに何
Yeah.
度もリリーフ
Here
し
we
て。
go. Ace
Alright.
closer.
水橋って野郎が来るのがそんなにまずいことなのか。
まずいも何も去年の最優秀救援投手。
But he's like 18 or 19 then.
バッターアウト2者連続三振
Shit.
この回のリカオンズの猛攻を止めました
流れは完全に断たれたな。水橋は去年49イニングに登板し失点はわずか。
Wow.
Yeah, so not really, you know, that much. He doesn't pitch that much. Yeah. Yeah, because he's a closer.
だがな、可能性が低いってのはつまりゼロじゃない。球種はほぼスライダーとストレート2種類だけ。
Oh, is he analyzing the pitcher as well?
スライダー投げる時の癖とかないのか。
そんなの分かってりゃ苦労しねえよ。
スライダーかストレートが区別できれば打てるような言い方だな。
今徳地の喋ってることが
Oh,
nice.
Brilliant.
Oh, that's
スライダー投げる
perfect.
時グラブが開く癖があるらしい。
Wow.
自覚な。
Oh, that's so good.
さあプレー再開です
Woo! Oh, that's a double. That's a double.
About to ruin this man's whole career.
That's a home
攻
run.
撃は止まらない
Oh, no. Okay, almost.
三塁ラン
Almost.
ナーホームイン
Shit.
7点目その差ついに4
Oh
点
my god.
かつて
Shit.
His ERA is already in the tank now.
Uh-huh.
でも実際こうやって打ち込んでるじゃねえか。
正確に言えば癖を作ってやったんだ。さっきのタイムの時わざとキャッチャーに聞こえるように話した。
Ah,
Right.
so smart.
でもすぐその後にお前スライダー投げるとき
Yep.
はグラブが閉じる。
目論見通り向こうのキャッチャーがタイムを取った。そして水橋にこう言った。
Is the shortstop gonna let this information slip?
グラブが開く。
I don't think it matters at this point.
もともと水橋
Yeah,
は
maybe not.
ストレートもスライダーもグラブを開いて投げていたんだ。
I think if anything, he might be seeing,
Catcher
you know,
no
what's
hitokoro.
possible
ス
with
ライ
this
ダーの時
guy
だけ
being on their
意
team.
図的にグラブを閉じようとする。
Yep.
癖は今ここで作られたのさ。
Bro, why do you care if you win? That has nothing to do with
Oh,
your bet
because-
with him.
Because this is more money that he's gonna have to pay Toua.
もしもし。はい。はい。
次のイニングこ 頃合いを見て守りに戻れ。特地には頭を下げてもだ。8人で安定している守備をお前が入って乱すんだ。
Dude, he's gonna get cut. Like,
Yeah.
like, because the other players won't, like...
Yeah. You'll get ostracized.
俺を守備につかせてくれ。
Now, this could be worth it for Toua just to confirm whether or not the owner is messing with things.
Yeah,
you know?
かかったな、
Okay.
特地。罠とも知らずに貴様の思い通りになると思うなよ。
Oh,
Okay.
this is some good shit now. We've got ourselves a setup where they're like, okay, we can't let Toua pitch. Like
Right.
we really can't.
Because that makes
he
sense,
costs
right?
too much.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, we will bankrupt ourselves trying to pay him, and we had enough money trouble before he came along.
And and even if we win, we're only up 11%.
Right.
But that was with him not pitching at all.
That's true.
So
That's
there's
true.
that. So now he
Yep.
comes in for one game to save them from an 0-11 like
Right.
lead. Like that's
that-
really bad.
That was
That's
very
comically bad.
comically bad. And the fun thing about this is that, like, and you brought this up, but the 11-point lead, that was something that was intentionally done to make it so that they would go through all the pitchers and stuff, so that, you know, Toua is like the last pitcher and all that stuff. He has to do the whole game, right?
Yeah, I feel like that was also a thing of where obviously from the character perspective, they wanted literally anyone to pitch but Toua.
Right.
So then
So
they're like,
even if
well, shit, we do need to field somebody.
Exactly. And then maybe that's also where the points came from, because again, the owner is invested in the team still winning. He just wants Toua to do badly, right?
Right.
So
he wants there to be a setup where people will come to watch the baseball games.
Exactly.
But he doesn't want Toua to be maybe the entire reason for it a little bit, because then the fans will demand Toua always pitch. You know, and it could create a bit of a
that could get
a bit of an ego thing,
all sorts of complicated.
Yeah,
but,
it could create some issues.
But yeah, I think when it comes down to it, for the most part, it stopped being a money thing, and now it's an ego thing for the owner, because yes, I don't want like our offense to do well that has no bearing on the actual bet and how much I pay Toua.
Right.
Because damn it, Toua is somehow doing this, and I like that they bring up the fact that while Toua can be an excellent pitcher, and even if he doesn't give up a single run, he can do jack shit directly when it comes to actually getting his team to make points. So if he gets brought in and they have any deficit, right? What can you do?
Right.
Well,
he needs to get tricky with it. And
Exactly.
the idea that he's like, okay, so you guys were doing decently well with the other pitcher. They bring in their ace closer. I love that they're brought up the idea of like, wait, they're bringing the ace closer already?
Right. We're still 7 points down. Yeah. What's going on?
Well, not just that. The idea of it was early in the inning, like it was the 7th inning. Closers are more often the final or the second to last inning.
Gotcha.
Like
that way they can be at their constant
at the
tip-top
constant
shape.
peak, and they also will basically be ones that you're never really prepared for because you don't play them much at all.
Gotcha.
They just come in. There was this closer for the Mariners that would come in, and he had like a 2.1 ERA, like on average, which is again insane because 3 is the good spot, you know, and he would throw like these crazy break balls alternated with like a fastball, and he'd just get 2 strikeouts and then a fly out, and they'd be like, all right, cool, that's it. You face 3 batters in a game.
There you go.
That was it. You cleaned it. They took nothing that inning. And it would be on a 1-point lead, basically.
Right.
Like, we need one person to come in, and you just systematically take out 2 batters, strike out, and then by the time that they figure you out, they're just flying it out to the outfield, and it's an easy game, and it's over.
There you go.
And it's like that's a closer. But if you bring them in at the 7th inning,
right,
you could go through a whole lineup. They get to pitch against him a second time. You know, it's It's a bit of an issue. And
right.
I love that this guy's like, wait, what? I do? Oh, I didn't notice.
Oh, that was I feel bad for the guy.
I feel bad for him too
because he's the hot shot. He's been doing good, and he must practice like crazy for a short amount of time being on the field, normally, right?
It felt like they were saying also that last year was his rookie year as well, and that was where he was like
the best closer
in on the scene,
the whole league. Yeah. It's like that's crazy. That is crazy. And yes, is some of it like the anime like hype up dramatics of like, oh, this was the best person of yesteryear, right? And now
he's
then,
their best pitcher,
right. But then of course he goes up against Toua, and Toua manages to take him apart. But it's something where they don't think about this kind of stuff.
Nope.
The idea of him talking about a tell in a way that they could overhear and then be like, hey, they pass it along. That could be a very easy trick to figure out, right? And if they would be in Toa's headspace of like, what is this kind of guy, right? They would probably not fall for it. They'd be like, oh, that's bait, right? No, I'm confident in my own abilities. I know that I do not have tells. They haven't been able to like, get anything on me so far.
Right.
Nope. I'll just keep throwing exactly the way I do and see if it actually is a tell and they're able to get hits off on me.
I think the catcher actually did something that is a bit like not uncharacteristic of a catcher, because catchers and pitchers are constantly talking to share like info and things that they've observed. But the idea that he didn't wait for like to see like, oh, because there's no one on base. There were 7 points ahead of them at that point. The actual like, opportunity to see if this was actually a thing. Like the catcher could have quietly observed for one batter, and that could have been Toua being like, it doesn't matter if the catcher doesn't do anything immediately, he'll do something eventually, because you guys will will maybe get something on him or what have you.
In a lot of ways, you could say that the catcher not just like made a mistake in that like, oh darn, you played into Toa's hands, like you let yourself get played, but he also, I could see that being a potential like taboo of like, you take the pro pitcher and you basically say you need to start doing things differently, right? And
except
granted, the catcher, that's part of their job,
that's
right?
Part of their job,
so it's that whole tough thing, but like, because I wonder if the catcher would even be able to tell normally, right? Which one's coming?
Like I would say that the catcher will often communicate with the pitcher which one
give
he
signals
thinks,
or whatever,
which one he thinks is best, and then it's up to the pitcher's discretion as to which pitch they use.
Yep.
But I would say that that's one of the best things about having a pitcher and catcher subtly communicating to each other, putting the crotch signals in where their fingers are basically doing like this or tapping the side or what have you. You can tell them, hey, I have a number system, 1, 2, 3, 4, or something that means something. And then based on which leg I tap it on, that's throwing it inside, outside.
Yep.
And that's plenty of info, because you can basically be like, all right, 1 breaking ball inside, and you're like, okay, so I'm gonna throw it directly at them or really far outside and have it break towards them or away. Some really cool stuff.
And I like this as a development for like the episode and us seeing what Toua can do, because previously we saw him get into the head of the other pitcher, right?
Yes.
And it's like, okay, that makes sense, right? That's a very like straightforward, direct kind of competition in mind games and all that stuff, right? Because they're the two opposing pitchers. But the idea that you could theoretically, even if the pitcher was someone that was unshakable, you could attack them indirectly by attacking the people near them, right? The catcher being the prime example of the person that you would use as a sort of proxy way to get at the pitcher. And that's just cool, right?
Because it's cool because that can happen in other ways.
Sure. Yeah, exactly, right? If that happens with the catcher, what are some of the other players that he could try and lean on? There's the more obvious things of like, saying that the Eagles are, oh, you're terrible, and all that stuff, right? So that they get all like bothered and angry and everything. But
this goes into Batman levels of prep time as well. Is that if Toua wanted to, he could study a team himself and be like, okay, so actually I'm in danger of these batters. These batters are actually quite serious. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to need some people to be in the stands, and you're going to do this at this time, and then you're going to do this at this time, and then you're going to do this over the dugout at this time. And then I'd like you to take drinks and alternate with these people and just toss them into the cracks of the dugout constantly.
Right. You'll get thrown out, but that's fine. After the first few.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Have its effect.
He'll say like, you won't get thrown out because I'm going to have you guys alternate like who's doing which part,
so they can't get all of you. Yeah.
Right.
And also I'm picturing like imagining in my head if you have that thing where there's the like super team, right? That because so far we've like been introduced to teams as they face them,
Yeah.
But like if it gets to the point where it's like, no, this is like the big game, right?
Yeah.
And then
the race to the pennant begins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you have a point where the players like talk outside of the sport, you know? And it's like you think you can beat us, you think you have a strong team, all that stuff. And Toua even uses those times to be like, to seed something in their head so that they see him in a particular way, or they think that he's going to use a particular tactic against them or whatever, right? And long before the game actually begins, he's already playing them,
this is going to get into some chess level strategy here where if the owner's primary issue is that he's going to be giving up too much money, he might have to start giving stuff away to other teams. Because it actually might behoove him that the players on his team, obviously he can pressure a shortstop until, the shortstop is, cleaning him out of money. And then he's like, okay, this isn't working. But leaking something to the other team, that's free.
Yeah.
They're not gonna need you to pay them in order to make your team worse.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that's what, because the episode ended in the middle of the game. And I like this as the
end of the game, but
right. Yeah, not the actual middle, but like the game isn't over.
The game is still going.
It's that whole thing of they skip through the first 6 innings more or less. Right?
Yeah.
But I could totally see it being something where when he is talking in the phone call with the shortstop and everything, the shortstop tells him what Toua's done, and then he just does an anonymous tip. There you go, right?
Yep.
And I'm curious to see how Toua responds after this game, because he will have realized what's going on, right? Like he picked it up very quickly with the shortstop. He's going to know why it's happening. If the other team gets info about, a tip about what they've been doing and stuff, like it'll be fairly obvious that it was probably because of some kind of leak, from within the team and probably the shortstop, And who stands to gain the most? The owner, right?
Right.
To get them to give up points and everything, right?
Sure.
So what would Toua do in his confrontations with the owner? Because I feel like he could even start doing mind games on the owner if he confronts him directly about it. And it's like, so I know you're trying to do this, and it's admirable, I suppose. You're starting to fight a bit like me, but it's not going to work or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think Toua would do that. Yeah? I feel like if he's talking to the owner's initiating that conversation.
Okay, sure.
Because really, it doesn't benefit Toua to anger the owner to where the owner does something really stupid. Like trying to kill Toua,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like there's a world where the owner is more concerned with this contract being taken seriously than he is about whether or not the team wins or loses games, or even whether he has money.
Sure.
He might then be like, okay, Mafia.
Right.
I need you guys to kill Toua after this game. Yeah. Just kill him. Just fucking kill it.
Right. We do the playoffs or whatever, and all that stuff. Maybe we win and just take him out.
And then we find out that the lady from the beginning with the 1 ounce thing is like, I run the Mafia in this area. Why would I kill Toua? He's giving me 2% off of everything that.
Yeah. What are you talking about? We've been betting like crazy on Toua's games.
Oh my god.
We could cut you in on that action, and maybe you'd be able to recoup some of your expenses. And the owner gets so involved in some crazy gambling scheme,
ring,
gambling ring, in order to just be able to afford Toua, right?
Oh my god!
And then it ends up having a shift, and maybe even Toua is like, you've changed your demeanor about putting me in the game,
so therefore I'm gonna start losing.
Well, sure, but
I've already made maybe like 1 billion yen,
just as a petty revenge thing.
Oh yeah, just to ruin him for one game,
I could see that.
That would be hilarious.
But I could also see it being something where it's like, the only way you're getting all the money to pay me is from gambling. It's fun, isn't it?
It's really good.
Yeah.
I really do want this story to eventually have some kind of emotional core to the tragedy of Toua's character on some level, because I feel like that's what the OP is hinting at. But
for now, rule of cool.
For now, rule of cool and mind games and stuff like that. Yep. Let's go. And then Kojima's gonna come back in, and obviously he wants there to be a kind of a thing where, with Kojima specifically, he's like, we'll then start to win again on our own, so we won't need to forfeit games, basically,
right,
in order to avoid paying Toua. But it'll be interesting to see if he looks at this from the standpoint of, wait a minute, what is it worth, tickets wise and monetary wise and merch wise and all that stuff, if we take this all away? Like, what
could I stand to gain despite Toua's ridiculous payments?
Right, and they'd be like, well, let's calculate it. And I'm sure they could calculate it down to a number range and be like, you're not going to get, 90% of this if you use Toua in this way.
Right.
But, and they'll be like, that's still a 20% year-over-year earnings from last year.
Right.
Which was still not bad, but it, that trend will continue because his is a flat contract, whereas fan stuff and all that fervor is multiplicative. That stacks in on itself. And Toua's young; he's not necessarily going anywhere.
That's true. Unless he decides to do something about him. And I could almost see that being a case where it's like, okay, Toua, you win. I will put you in a lot, but we better win the whole thing, or I will be sending someone after you.
Weirdly enough, that could be the part where he gets into an additional contract of sorts. Is where he's like, okay, so how about I give you also a flat rate for every time we win, right?
Okay.
But I want us to win totally. So every time the other team basically scores, we add an additional amount of money onto that.
Gotcha. So,
or no. He gets a rate for winning, but they need to win. But if the
maybe he could do something where it's like
for if they lose, maybe.
Well, he could do a negative for if they lose, but he could also do something where it's like, for each win, there will be this amount of money.
Sure.
And maybe that money goes up for like win streaks, basically.
Okay.
But if you lose, then it goes to 0, or something like that.
Or goes negative.
Right. Something like that.
That's,
I don't know.
That's an idea.
There's
a lot of games though, so I feel like the contract as is already something where he's probably like sweating about.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's like, I can't afford to pay him,
Right.
What do we do?
On some level, he's probably like, I need to have one of the players go and raid his locker and wherever he lives and destroy that contract. So there's no proof.
Right, exactly.
And he'd be like, sir, that could go really poorly for us. Like, you sure you want to do that?
It ends up getting to a point where he's so broke and he's given Toua so much money that Toua just ends up somehow, I don't know if this would be possible, but ends up buying the team or something like that. Like Toua also is gambling on the side, makes big on all of the wins because, they're stacked against them or something like that. I don't know. Like,
maybe. I think that the owner going into debt, is likely. But whether or not that's something that means the end of him, or if it's just a thing where, millionaires in business or what have you, going into debt is not a it's not the end of the world.
Hey, that person on the street has $3 billion more than me. Yeah. The thing that I'm wondering, I guess, is that since the owner has made so much to be the antagonist at this point, even in ways that don't entirely make sense, like wanting his team to lose, what is the way that Toua will beat him? Because he could beat him just with money. But I feel like he
gets paid. That's how he wins.
Sure, yeah, but I feel like Toua generally destroys his opposition so entirely, right?
Is the coach's opposition or actually his best friend, Jacob? It's all a matter of perspective.
The owner is his sugar daddy.
The owner is going to give him more money than he's ever had.
That's true.
If anything,
that's a good point.
He needs to have that moment where the owner's like, you're going to destroy me. And he's like, no, see? We're going places.
No, man. That's what he does. The owner hasn't paid him anything yet because it's at the end of the year or something. And he's like, I will wipe away your debt if you win. But if I win, I get the team.
Yeah, that could be also a thing where the stuff with Kojima was set up for how you make bets upon bets upon bets. And along the way, you string the person that you're with, making the odds of you winning closer and closer to 100%, while the other person is got that sunk cost fallacy where they're like, I can't just back out.
I need to get back the money I've lost.
I've already lost so much. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. But all right, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all of this comes with Discord access. So you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.